Welcome to Sleepy Cosmic. Close your eyes. Imagine a universe where nothing moves, not even time itself. The stars hang motionless in the sky, caught mid. The air doesn't flow, the planets don't spin, and even your thoughts seem to pause between moments. There's no past, no future, only an endless, gentle stillness, like the silence that exists just before you fall asleep. You can almost feel it, can't you? The weightless hush of a world that has forgotten how to move. If you listen closely, you'll notice it isn't emptiness you're hearing. It's peace, the kind that hides between seconds. The kind we chase our whole lives but rarely touch. What would happen if everything simply stopped? If time itself exhaled and decided to rest? Would the universe crumble, or would it finally find its calm? Tonight, we'll drift into that stillness together, to a place where time slows down enough for you to feel it breathing, where every moment stretches, soft and infinite, until even the ticking of the universe fades away. Imagine a moment so still that even the ticking of time forgets to move. You take a breath, slow and gentle, and for an instant it feels as though the entire universe exhales with you. The stars stop their spinning. The oceans pause mid. Every sound you've ever known fades into a single note of silence, soft, endless, eternal. You're not falling asleep yet. You're just arriving in the space between moments, the place where everything waits to begin again. There's no hurry here, no schedule, no next, just this endless now, stretched wide like a quiet horizon. It's the kind of silence that doesn't ask for attention. It just exists, calm, patient, infinite. Feel the air around you, weightless, still, almost aware of its own quiet. In this moment, you're not inside time. You're outside of it. You can feel the gentle hum of existence, but it's slower now, deeper. Every cell in your body seems to sigh. Your thoughts, once tangled like rushing rivers, soften into streams of silver light. It's strange, isn't it? How silence can feel louder than sound. How stillness can feel like motion turned inward. The universe has not disappeared. It's only resting. You can sense it. The galaxies holding their breath, the atoms waiting, even the light taking a brief pause before its next journey. And as everything stops, something inside you begins to move. Awareness, subtle and profound. You start to notice how much of your life has been wrapped in motion. Clocks ticking, hearts racing, seconds falling away. But now, in this slow, unfolding quiet, those pieces of time scatter like stardust, revealing what was always beneath them, presence. You feel the weight of your body against the bed, the warmth beneath your palms, the rhythm of your breathing blending with the universe's hidden pulse. This is the moment the mind stops measuring. You no longer care what time it is, because here time isn't passing, it's resting beside you, eyes closed. Serene. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Notice the darkness behind your eyelids. It isn't empty. It's full, rich, deep. The kind of darkness that holds light inside it. a cradle for thoughts, dreams, and galaxies alike. This is where your consciousness begins to drift between memory and possibility. Let your shoulders loosen, your jaw unclench. There's nothing to do now but be. Every breath is an invitation deeper into stillness. Wide, the kind of stillness that reminds you, even when everything stops, existence remains. Even when motion fades, meaning doesn't. If you listen closely, beneath the quiet, there's a subtle vibration, the echo of something infinite. Maybe it's your heartbeat. Maybe it's the memory of time itself, whispering softly that it will wait for you. Because time, no matter how unstoppable it seems, always pauses for those who learn how to dot and sew. You drift a little further. The edges of the room blur. Thoughts dissolve like mist over a calm ocean. The distance between you and the stars feels shorter now, as if the universe has leaned in, curious, waiting to share its secrets. What happens when motion stops, when even light forgets to move forward? Does existence end? Or does it finally see itself clearly? Perhaps everything that moves only does so to discover what stillness truly is. Perhaps silence is not an absence, but the beginning of all sound. Let that idea rest gently in your mind. You don't have to chase it. Just let it linger, soft, glowing, almost sleepy. Your awareness drifts through the quiet like a slow comet across an endless night sky. You feel small, yet infinite, both observer and part of the paused cosmos. In this place, your worries lose their meaning. Deadlines, mistakes, plans, they belong to a world that's still spinning. But here, everything just is. You can rest inside that truth, that existence continues, even when it stops moving. That being is enough. You might notice how your breathing has changed, slower now, deeper, almost synchronized with the rhythm of the universe itself. Inhale, stillness. Exhale, surrender. The muscles in your face soften, your heartbeat steadies, and a gentle warmth spreads across your chest. It feels like the whole cosmos is asleep with you, and in a way, it is. Every star, every particle, every forgotten dream floats in this same pause, resting before the next dawn of movement. And maybe, just maybe, this is what time feels like when it loves you, when it finally stops chasing you forward, and instead holds you softly in place. When you realize that there is nothing to reach, nothing to fix, nothing to win, only this, the eternal hush of being alive right now. As you sink deeper into this calm, remember, the universe doesn't rush. Stars take billions of years to speak. Light travels centuries just to reach your eyes. You, too, are allowed to move slowly, to stop, to breathe, to exist in the in-between. The silence deepens. The stars above feel closer. And somewhere in the vast stillness, you sense something beautiful, that time itself is not your master, but your mirror. Bipend. It moves when you move. It pauses when you pause. And tonight, it pauses with you. If you listen closely enough, you might hear it. The quiet pulse that keeps everything alive. Bit softer than a heartbeat, slower than a breath. It doesn't tick like a clock or hum like a machine. It simply is. A rhythm so vast, so ancient, that the human mind can only catch a whisper of it in stillness. It's the pulse of time itself, the cosmic heartbeat that moves through every atom, every wave, every drifting particle of starlight. You might not notice it in the rush of your day. Time feels like something outside of you, a current carrying you from one moment to the next. But if you were to stop, just as you are now, and listen inward, you'd find that rhythm pulsing through you. It's in the way your lungs rise and fall, in the quiet thrum behind your ribs, in the waves of thought that ebb and return. You are not just living in time. You are time. Every heartbeat echoes the universe's first expansion. That singular breath that scattered galaxies like glowing dust. Every inhale you take mirrors that same beginning. The universe inhaling itself into existence. The rhythm hasn't stopped since. Stars are born, burn, and fade to its beat. Oceans sway in slow dance with the moon. Even light, the swiftest traveler, moves in measured waves, obeying the same unspoken tempo. It's humbling, isn't it, to realize that you are made of moments, stitched together by rhythm. Each thought you've ever had, each word ever spoken, existed because of that steady cosmic pulse. Without it, there would be no motion, no change, no life. You wouldn't be here, listening, breathing, being. Time isn't a line pulling you forward. It's a song that holds you, and you are one note in its infinite melody. Let yourself sink into that realization. Feel your breath as a quiet tie. The inhale, the gathering of possibility. The exhale, the gentle release. Between them, a pause. That small silence between breaths mirrors the pause between stars. The space that gives rhythm meaning. Tell without space, there would be no sound. Without stillness, no motion. Without you, no awareness of time at all. There's a strange comfort in that thought, that the universe needs observers. Without consciousness, time would pass unnoticed, unmeasured, unspoken. But with you here, noticing, the rhythm becomes real. The cosmic pulse becomes personal. Every second becomes an act of creation, unfolding gently under your awareness. You are not separate from the ticking of the stars. You are part of the orchestra. Think of time not as a ruler, but as music. A composition written across eternity, where every beat has purpose. Sometimes the rhythm quickens, joy, discovery, movement. Other times it slows, rest, reflection, sleep. Both are sacred, both necessary. The mind resists this truth, always craving motion, fearing stillness as if silence were the end of the song. But silence is not an ending. It is a rhythm resting between notes, preparing for the next rise. You might wonder if time is the heartbeat of the universe. Can it ever stop? Could the music end? Perhaps not. Perhaps even endings are only new cadences beginning in disguise. Every sunset is a breath between dawns. Every death a quiet held before rebirth. The rhythm of existence never breaks. It only changes form. The physicists call it entropy, the gradual unfolding of energy, the cosmic drift toward equilibrium. But poets might call it rest, the universe taking a breath after its long symphony of motion. Both are true. Both are part of the same rhythm that moves galaxies and dreams alike. Listen closer now, not with your ears, but with the quiet inside your mind. Beneath thoughts, beneath the hum of your surroundings, there is something faint, a slow, steady throb. Be the rhythm of your being. The universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in frequency, vibration, pulse. And that pulse is inside you. It always has been. Maybe that's why humans find comfort in repetition, footsteps, lullabies, ocean waves, heartbeat. Rhythm reminds us that we belong, that chaos is only rhythm we haven't learned to dance with yet. And when life feels fast, when the days blur and vanish before you've had time to notice them, it's not because time has sped up, it's because your awareness has drifted from the beat. So come back to it now. Feel the soft pulse of your wrist, the steady rhythm in your chest. Let it sync with the slower music of your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You're not counting time anymore. You're becoming it. Every moment that passes through you leaves a trace, a vibration, a memory, a fragment of rhythm continuing forward. And though you can't touch time, you shape it with attention. You give it meaning by noticing it. That's the quiet power of awareness. It turns existence from noise into song. Somewhere in the deep dark between galaxies, time is doing the same thing, noticing itself through stars. Every supernova is a heartbeat too, every orbit a drumbeat, every whisperer of cosmic radiation the echo of that first pulse. When you listen, you align with that infinite music. You remember that you are not a fleeting second. You are part of eternity's rhythm. And when you finally drift toward sleep tonight, that rhythm will keep moving through dreams, through silence, through the unseen world. Your body will rest, but the universe will keep breathing with you, in you, as you. Because time doesn't stop. It flows through stillness, carrying every soul gently forward. So, as you lie here, suspended between awareness and sleep, imagine the heartbeat of the cosmos within your own. Feel how ancient it is, older than the stars, older than memory. And yet it's here, right now, inside your chest, reminding you that you are not separate from existence. You are its pulse, and when morning comes, and time resumes its familiar rhythm of hours and motion, remember this truth: you've never been chasing time. You've been moving with it, dancing inside the same cosmic breath that began everything. Because time is not against you, bit with you, for you, through you, endlessly, softly, faithfully, faithfully. And tonight, it sings you to sleep. A raindrop hangs in the air, a starbeam caught mid-glow. The universe has stopped breathing. Everything that was once in motion has come to rest. The planets no longer turn, the galaxies no longer spin. Even light itself, That eternal traveler stands frozen, suspended between here and there. You open your eyes, and the world is perfectly still. It is not silence as you've ever known it. It's deeper, not the absence of sound, but the absence of movement. No wind rustles, no atoms vibrate. The hum of existence has dimmed to nothing. The moment stretches endlessly, and you begin to realize this is what it would feel like if time itself stopped at first. The stillness feels peaceful, a kind of cosmic mercy, a soft exhale after an infinite rush. By the noise of life, the pulse of clocks, the constant unfolding of seconds, all gone. It's as if the universe has taken a breath and forgotten to release it. You stand inside that held breath, aware of how fragile and temporary motion once was. You notice strange things. Light has shaped now, ribbons of gold and white hanging in mid-air, bending gracefully through glass and water. A leaf caught mid-fall hangs like a painting against the sky. Ripples on a pond are sculpted in place, each ring a delicate sculpture of time frozen in mid. Even your own reflection, should you see it, seems like someone remembered rather than someone real. And yet, despite everything being frozen, you can move. You walk through a world paused in mid-beat, a quiet observer among unmoving wonders. The air does not stir around you, but you can feel it, dense and patient, as if holding infinite stories in suspension. The stillness is not empty. It's full of all the things that might have happened, all the moments waiting to become. You begin to sense that time was never just a measure. It was the rhythm that gave life meaning. Without it, beauty becomes haunting. By a smile caught halfway, a bird with wings half open, the glimmer of dawn that never arrives. Every scene is perfect and unbearable because nothing ever changes. The mind resists this kind of quiet. You start to feel the absence of motion like pressure in your chest. The heart still beats, but slower now, heavy, uncertain. You wonder, if time never moves again, what happens to memory? What happens to becoming? If nothing changes, can you still exist? And yet there is wonder here. To see the universe in pause is to see it as it truly is, not rushing, not fleeting, but eternal. Every photon, every thought, every heartbeat is revealed in its purest form. You noticed colors you never knew existed, gradients of light too fine for eyes accustomed to movement. You see the curve of a wave, the architecture of breath, the infinite patience of matter waiting for its next instruction. In this frozen expanse, you start to feel the truth behind motion, that time doesn't move through you, you move within it. You realize that every second you've ever lived was not something passing, but something you entered, experienced, and left behind. Time is not a river flowing forward. It's a vast landscape of still moments. And motion is simply the act of your awareness moving across them. You begin to let go of the idea of before and after. There is only now, and now is endless. The moment you're in stretches beyond comprehension, soft and vast like the space between stars. You find comfort in it, like floating in warm water, weightless and safe. Perhaps this is what eternity feels like. Not a line, but a field. Not a ticking, but a presence. You are no longer chasing moments. You are inside one, completely. And as strange as it is, it feels familiar. Somewhere deep inside, you remember this stillness from dreams, from meditation, from the quiet seconds before sleep when thought dissolves into nothing. The stillness begins to whisper lessons. It shows you how much of life's beauty comes from impermanence. A flower is precious because it fades. A heartbeat is sacred because it stops. Time doesn't steal, it gives motion to meaning. Without its passing, even joy would lose its pulse. You start to see that stillness and motion are not opposites. They are lovers, always returning to one another. Stillness gives motion purpose. Motion gives stillness depth. The moment time begins again, everything you've seen will move forward. The leaf will fall. The raindrop will land. The light will travel on. But you'll know something new, that even when things seem to stop, they are part of something that never truly ends. You look out across the frozen horizon, light suspended like crystal dust, the universe shimmering in its held breath, and you understand that this stillness is not the death of time, but its core. Beneath every second that ticks, this silence lives. The eternal background hum of existence paused. Then, somewhere deep within, you feel it, the faintest tremor, a pulse returning. It's not sound, not motion, but the idea of motion, the first thought of time remembering itself. The raindrop shivers in place. The starbeam begins to glow again. The silence breaks, gently, like dawn light touching a sleeping world. And in that instant, you feel both the gift and the fragility of being alive in time. You understand that life is built from pauses and pulses, rests and renewals, and that the stillness between seconds is not a void to escape, but a sanctuary to enter. It is the space where you can breathe, feel, and remember who you are beyond the ticking of clocks. You take one slow breath. The universe exhales with you. Motion returns. But this time, you don't rush to follow it. You let the rhythm unfold, soft and measured. You know now that stillness never left. It only hides behind the noise of seconds. And whenever you need it, you can return here, to the place where a raindrop hangs in the air. A starbeam waits to continue, and the universe holds its breath, just long enough for you to remember that you, too, are eternal. If time were to stop, truly stop, everything you know would still exist, but nothing would happen. No motion, no cause or effect, no before, no after. Just the vast suspension of everything that ever was, caught in the act of being. You might imagine it as silence, but it's not just silence. It's the world mid-breath, held in perfect balance, waiting for permission to continue. A raindrop hangs in the air, a starbeam caught mid-glow. The universe has stopped breathing. And in that frozen heartbeat, something extraordinary happens. You can see the structure of reality itself, the way time weaves through everything like an invisible current. Without it, the thread loosens. Energy has no direction. Waves no longer crash or fade. They simply are, blocked in the stillness of what could be called eternity. Imagine looking at the ocean, and instead of moving waves, you see a vast sculpture, every droplet, every crest, every shimmer of light locked in exquisite suspension. The beauty of it is breathtaking, but it's unsettling too. The ocean has lost its heartbeat. Its song is gone. And that's when you realize motion is not chaos, it's life. Physics tells us that time and motion are inseparable. One gives meaning to the other. Without time, velocity disappears. Gravity loses its pull. Even temperature, that subtle dance of atoms, vanishes into neutrality. Cold and heat become the same thing, because nothing moves. The laws of thermodynamics, the very breath of the cosmos, go silent. Everything exists, but nothing changes. It's like being inside a photograph that never develops, a universe midst words caught between thoughts. You start to wonder what would happen to light, that tireless traveler, always rushing forward at 300,000 kilometers per second. If time stopped, would light stop too? Would it hang between stars, stretched like a golden thread that never reaches its end? Would galaxies remain visible forever, their glow frozen mid-journey, each photon a paused whisper from ancient worlds? The mind can barely hold it, a universe filled with light that never lands, messages that never arrive, beauty that never fades, because nothing ever moves again. And yet, even in that pause, there's something strangely comforting. You begin to feel that this stillness isn't a failure of the universe. It's a glimpse into its core. Beneath the motion, beneath the chaos, lies a perfect equilibrium. It's as if the universe has taken a moment to remember itself, to rest. Every particle, every star, every thought suspended in balance, neither decaying nor growing, just being, pure, complete, untouched. You realize that time is not the enemy of peace. It's the medium through which peace can exist. The physics of the pause reveals that stillness and movement are not opposites, but partners, always interwoven. Without motion, we can't perceive stillness. Without stillness, motion has no meaning. They define each other, like inhale and exhale, presence and absence, you and the space that holds you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself inside that frozen expanse. The atoms in your body are still vibrating, but their rhythm has slowed to infinity. Truth. You can feel the boundary between yourself and the universe dissolve. Every cell in your body, every molecule, every trace of energy is paused in perfect harmony with the cosmos. You are no longer in time. You are part of what time flows through. And maybe that's the secret physics doesn't yet describe, the way consciousness still exists beyond time. When motion stops, awareness remains. It's like the last glow of a candle before darkness, not light in motion, but the memory of illumination. You begin to understand that time may not be an external force at all, but a perception, a language the mind uses to make sense of change. When change ceases, the language disappears, but the awareness that perceives it stays awake. In that realization, something shifts. The pause no longer feels like an ending. It feels like truth. The physics of pause reveals a hidden balance behind every moment of your life. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought arises between stillness and movement, between being and becoming. Even now, as you listen, you are oscillating between those states, your awareness expanding and contracting like the tides of existence. You start to see your own life as part of this cosmic rhythm. When you rush, when you chase, when you fill every moment with noise, you move further from the stillness that birthed you. But when you pause, truly pause, when you breathe and allow yourself to stop, the entire universe seems to exhale with you. The chaos softens. The particles settle. The laws of physics bend toward peace. It's strange how science and spirituality meet here, in the quietest of places. The physicist might call it entropy in equilibrium. The poet might call it the soul remembering home. You can call it whatever you wish, but the experience is the same. A profound recognition that stillness isn't nothingness. It's everything waiting to move. You begin to imagine what happens next. When the pause ends, when time begins again, all the frozen light will race forward. All the oceans will crash. All the stars will resume their burn. But maybe they will do so more gently, more gracefully, as if the pause reminded them what motion means. And perhaps you, too, will move differently when this meditation ends. You'll walk slower, see deeper, breathe softer. You'll remember that stillness is not the absence of progress, but the space where true awareness lives. So, as you rest in this moment, this small, infinite pause between breaths, let the physics fade into poetry. Feel the quiet symmetry of your existence. The atoms within you hold the same silence as the galaxies above. The same laws that stop a photon mid-flight allow your heart to rest between beats. The same balance that freezes a wave holds your thoughts when you let them go. This is the physics of pause, the science of serenity. A reminder that everything in motion is born from stillness, and everything still contains the seed of motion. But you are both the breath and the gap between breaths, the sound and the silence after it, the wave and the still ocean beneath. Stay here for a moment longer. Let yourself become the pause. Let time dissolve around you. Because in this space where light hangs suspended, where galaxies rest in patience, where the universe holds its breath, you are finally free from becoming. You are simply being. And in that being, everything is complete. Everyone else is still, the galaxies silent, the stars unmoving, yet you drift between them, still breathing. The universe has stopped, but somehow you remain awake. You look around, and the sky no longer flows. The stars hang like lanterns in a sea of glass. The light no longer travels, the planets no longer turn. The great machinery of existence has fallen quiet, and you, the smallest thing, are the only one left who can still feel the passage of thought at first. It feels terrifying. You try to reach out, to hear a sound, to move something, to break the stillness, but nothing responds. Your voice doesn't echo, your footsteps don't stir dust. Time has vanished, and with it motion's memory. And yet there is one rhythm left, your breath, the faint rise and fall of your chest, the whisper of air in and out. You are the only heartbeat left in creation, and in this silence, that small motion feels like a miracle. You begin to wonder, why you? Why are you the one still aware when everything else is frozen? You glance toward a nearby star, its surface glowing like a painting mid-brush stroke, every flame frozen in beauty. You see galaxies suspended in spirals, their arms stretching across eternity. Even comets hang in the void like diamonds on invisible strings. Every movement that once was captured mid-dance. It's breathtaking. It's horrifying. It's sacred. You float through the stillness, and a strange realization begins to bloom. You are not trapped in time. You are outside it. You have become the witness of all that ever happened. Every star, every particle, every memory of motion is visible to you now. It's as if time itself has unrolled into a single infinite image, and you can see all of it at once. The birth of suns, the fall of civilizations, the silent bloom of nebulae. Every story that ever unfolded laid bare before your quiet gaze. There's power in that. Not power in the sense of control, but awareness. You begin to feel a gentle identity shift, as though you've become something larger than a person. You're no longer bound to the ticking of seconds, no longer a creature of schedules or endings. You are the witness of eternity, the only consciousness awake in a sleeping cosmos. But as the silence deepens, you begin to feel the weight of solitude, the kind that presses against your skin, as if the absence of time itself is touching you. You move, or think you do, but it's impossible to tell. There's no reference anymore. Motion and stillness have become the same. You feel suspended between breaths, between thoughts, between the past and what will never come. You realize this might be what eternity feels like. Not endless time, but the complete absence of it. And yet, something within you adapts. Your mind starts to quiet. The panic softens. You'll notice details you never could before. The fine geometry of light trapped inside the air. The way each particle of cosmic dust glows faintly, like a secret never told. You start to feel connected, not to people, not to places, but to existence itself. It's as if the silence of the frozen universe has entered you, and you have become part of its stillness. You start to understand that observation itself is creation, that the act of seeing brings reality into being. Perhaps that's why you're still awake, because the universe needs someone to notice it, even when it sleeps. Without the observer, there is no meaning, no story, no dream. The cosmos may exist physically, but without awareness, it's like a book that will never be read. You are the reader now, and the story has paused mid-sentence, waiting for you to turn the next page. You feel both small and infinite. You think of your life, your moments of rush, your worries about time slipping away, and they suddenly seem distant, almost laughable. Time can't slip away if it doesn't move at all. You realize that what you feared losing was never time itself, but awareness, the ability to feel alive within it. And now, in this frozen eternity, that awareness is all you have. It's all you are. As you float among unmoving galaxies, you begin to notice something subtle. A pulse, not in the stars, not in the physics, but in you. It's the faintest echo of movement, a quiet vibration in the stillness. Perhaps it's your heart, or perhaps it's the universe itself, stirring again through you. You start to see that maybe you and the cosmos were never separate. Maybe your awareness is its way of staying awake. Even when time stops, you are the continuation of its breath, the consciousness of its stillness. The longer you remain here, the more peaceful it becomes. The fear of isolation turns into awe. The silence becomes a companion. You start to understand that motion is not necessary for meaning, that being is enough. You drift past frozen planets, their oceans shimmering like mirrors, and realize that stillness can be beautiful too. Every paused moment, every unmoving wave, every beam of light that never reaches its destination, all of it perfect, complete, eternal dot. And in that understanding, view something open within you. A quiet empathy for the universe itself. You realize how restless it must have been, always expanding, always moving, always reaching for something beyond itself. Maybe that's what time was. The universe's longing to know itself through motion. And now, in stillness, it finally rests. You, the observer, are its reflection, a reminder that even the infinite needs moments of pause. You begin to accept that you may never move again, and somehow that's okay. You have become more than a traveler in space. You have become space itself. The stillness is no longer outside you. It is you. Every breath, every flicker of thought ripples through this frozen cosmos like gentle music through crystal air. You are the bridge between what was and what will be, between the sleeping and the awake, and then, quietly, you whisper into the silence, not with words, but with intention. A single thought, I see you. The universe, suspended and timeless, seems to listen. For a moment, the stars shimmer faintly, like the faintest inhale before dawn. Perhaps they heard you. Perhaps that's all time ever needed, awareness to begin again. You realize that the observer's role is sacred. You are the one who gives meaning to stillness. The one who transforms silence into story, emptiness into presence. Without you, even eternity would remain unnoticed. And so you rest, not as the last being in the cosmos, but as the witness of its beauty, the guardian of its breathless peace. You let go of the need to change anything, to move, to awaken the stars. You simply exist, the lone consciousness suspended in a frozen universe. And in that existence, you find what you were always searching for in motion. Stillness that feels alive. Awareness that doesn't need time to be real. The galaxies remain unmoving. The stars still frozen mid-song. But something subtle has shifted. You have stopped seeking the flow of time, and instead found the center of it, the place where being and becoming are one. You are the observer in the frozen cosmos, and in your stillness, the universe remembers itself. You try to remember, but memories need time to breathe. And here, time is gone. The air itself seems to hum with silence, as if the universe has drawn its last inhale and decided to never exhale again. You float through it weightlessly, a traveler without a clock, a soul without a heartbeat. And yet you are aware, not of moments passing, but of awareness itself, the still pulse of existence beneath everything that moves. Somewhere deep inside you, an old rhythm tries to surface, but it slips away, like mist dissolving before sunlight that never comes. At first, the absence feels wrong. You search for sound, for motion, for anything to mark the difference between before and after. But there is no before. There is no after. Only this, the quiet, infinite middle, a suspended breath between creation and forgetting. You reach out, instinctively expecting resistance, a texture, a vibration, a sign that the world still remembers itself. But even light, once so loyal, refuses to move. It clings to your fingertips, trapped in the moment it was born. And here, something curious begins to unfold. You start to sense not the loss of time, but its unveiling. It's as if you've peeled away the veil of seconds, revealing what was always beneath, an eternal stillness. The kind of stillness that hums quietly in the spaces between heartbeats. You realize now that everything you ever loved, every laugh, every sunrise, every touch, was just the universe finding new ways to move through itself. But when the motion stops, what remains is essence, pure, undivided being, the soul of existence stripped of sequence. Do you remember your first memory? The way it feels half real now, as though it belongs to someone else. That faint scent, that fleeting sound. Memory has always been a ghost of time, dependent on the rhythm of before and after to give it shape. But here, where time cannot breathe, memory unravels. The pictures fade first, the faces blur, the laughter grows hollow. The outlines soften until even the idea of past loses meaning. Yet, in the center of that fading, something awakens. Not a memory, but a knowing. The kind that doesn't need words. The kind that existed before thought ever learned to name. It's strange, isn't it? How much of who you are depends on what you remember. Every choice, every dream, every story you've ever told yourself is woven from threads of memory. But when those threads dissolve, who are you then? Without your timeline, without the stories of success and failure, love and loss, what remains? You breathe, if breathing still means anything here. And in that breath, you realize, perhaps identity was never tied to time. Perhaps you are not the story, but the silence that listens to it. You feel the weight of that realization, not heavy like sorrow, but vast like space itself. You are no longer confined by the idea of before or after. You are everywhere your memories have been, and everywhere they could have gone. You are both the dreamer and the dream, the echo and the silence that follows it. And slowly, a calm begins to bloom where confusion once lived. Because even though your memories dissolve, the love they carried doesn't. Emotion, it seems, is older than time. It doesn't fade, it transforms. Maybe that's what eternity really is. Not endless seconds stretching forever, but the disappearance of seconds altogether. A moment so whole, so unbroken, that it never needs to end. You begin to feel it now, that deep, serene understanding that time was never your cage, only your mirror. It showed you movement, change, decay, but you were always the stillness underneath. You were always the observer. You drift further into the void, but it doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels full, overflowing, even be full of everything that ever was, suspended in perfect unity. Stars hang like frozen symphonies mid-note. Galaxies turn to quiet sculptures of motion paused. Touch them not with hands, but with awareness, and in that touch you sense their memory, not as a timeline, but as truth. The universe, it seems, never forgets. It simply waits, and you wait with it. No rush, no counting, just being. You wonder if time was ever real at all, or just a soft illusion designed to make eternity digestible, to help infinite beings like you experience life one heartbeat at a time. Perhaps memory is the echo of that illusion, the shadow left behind when infinity learns to breathe in rhythm. Now that rhythm has stopped, the shadow fades, but the light remains. The light of pure presence, of existing without needing to remember why. The longer you rest in that presence, the more you begin to understand the gentleness hidden within oblivion. Forgetting isn't loss, it's space. Space for awareness to expand, to breathe in its true form. You realize that time, for all its beauty, was a kind of noise. Necessary, yes, like music is to silence, but always temporary. And now, with the noise gone, you can finally hear what was beneath it all along, the quiet hum of being itself. You could stay here forever, not because forever is long, but because here forever doesn't exist. There is no duration to measure peace. It simply is, like the space between thoughts, the pause between heartbeats, the silence after a final note. You are both the silence and the note, the memory and the forgetting, the echo and the void. And as you drift deeper, you realize something beautiful. Time never truly stops. It only changes form. Even now, in this eternal pause, a subtle rhythm stirs beneath the stillness. Not the ticking of clocks, but the whisper of awareness, breathing softly. The universe may have stopped moving, But consciousness, your consciousness, remains the quiet observer, watching over all that was, is, put, and ever will be. And in that realization, the void no longer feels cold. It feels alive, because you are here, and even in timelessness, you are infinite. Between every heartbeat, between every blink, there's a universe that waits in perfect stillness. You've always been surrounded by it, always carried it within you, but perhaps never noticed, because time, in its endless forward rush, keeps you chasing, keeps you reaching. Yet here now, with the clocks forgotten and the stars unmoving, you finally begin to sense what has always been hidden in plain sight, the space between moments, that breathless hush that exists not in time, but beside it, a stillness that hums with life, though nothing seems to move. You can feel it if you slow down, if you close your eyes and listen carefully. The noise of the world fades, not into silence, but into something deeper, something alive. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of peace, the kind that doesn't need to be earned or understood, the kind that simply is. You breathe in, and even the act of breathing becomes cosmic. A gentle exchange between your small human rhythm and the vast, patient pulse of existence. Every inhale a beginning, every exhale a quiet return. It's strange how icily we forget this place, how the seconds, so innocent, weave themselves into minutes, then hours, then years, and we start mistaking the measurement of time for the meaning of life. But between those measurements lies something eternal. That's where the real universe hides, not in the ticking hands of a clock, but in the silent space between one tick and the next. You begin to realize that maybe time was never linear, never marching forward. Maybe it was always circular, breathing in and out, expanding and returning, just like you. Look closer, and you'll see it everywhere. Between thoughts, there's awareness. Between breaths, there's stillness. Between the beginning and the end, there's presence. That's where the truth of existence lives, not in what happens, but in what doesn't. The universe between moments is not an empty void. It's a field of infinite potential. Every possibility you've ever dreamed of, every version of you that could exist, waits there, suspended like unbloomed stars. You might think stillness means nothingness, but that's not true. Stillness is fullness. It's everything in perfect balance, held so delicately that it feels like nothing at all. The space between moments holds galaxies like dewdrops, shimmering, silent, weightless. And when you rest in that space, you begin to remember what it means to be whole. You are no longer bound by what was or what will be. You simply are. The observer, the witness, the breath of awareness that watches eternity unfold without needing to interfere. As you linger here, you start to feel a soft shift. Put the edges of your identity blur, not lost, but soften. You are no longer just a body, no longer a single thought or emotion. You are the pause that surrounds them, the awareness that gives them shape, the one who sees, not the thing being seen. And that realization is liberating, because it dissolves every illusion that once made you small. You begin to see that even when you thought you were trapped by time, you were always standing just outside of it. Every experience you've ever had was just a ripple on the surface of an infinite, still lake. You mistook the ripples for the water itself. But now you feel the depth. You sense how vast it is beneath you, the calm, the endlessness. It doesn't matter that the ripples fade. The water remains. You remain. That's the secret the universe whispers when everything else stops moving. You are the lake, not the wave. You are the silence between heartbeats, not the ticking clock. The mind doesn't know what to do with stillness. It tries to fill it with words, with memories, with plans. But if you listen closely, you can hear how gently those thoughts fall away, like snowflakes melting on your skin. You don't have to push them. You don't have to fight. Just notice how, between each thought, there's a tiny pause, a quiet doorway into eternity. Step through it. Feel the simplicity of being, that pause between thoughts. That's where awareness lives. That's the same pause between stars, between breaths, between lifetimes. The same pause that existed before time began. It's the universe's natural state, a balance between creation and rest. When you enter it consciously, you align yourself with that cosmic rhythm. You become not a seeker of peace, but peace itself. There's a paradox in it, isn't there? The more you try to grasp stillness, the more it slips away. But the moment you stop trying, it's there, surrounding you, holding you, loving you. That's because stillness can't be possessed. It can only be remembered. And once you remember, you realize it was never gone. Every blink, every breath, every pause was a tiny invitation to return home. And maybe that's what mindfulness truly is, not a practice, but a remembering, a gentle return to the space that was always here, waiting patiently between moments. You don't create peace, but cover it, like brushing dust from a mirror to reveal your own reflection staring back. That reflection is the universe seeing itself through you. Every time you pause, the cosmos gets a moment to look in its own eyes. You might wonder, why don't we stay here forever? Why does time pull us back? Why do thoughts return? Perhaps because even eternity enjoys movement. Stillness and motion are partners in the same dance. The universe breathes through them both. You exhale into stillness. You inhale into motion. Each depends on the other to exist. Without stillness, motion has no meaning. Without motion, stillness has no contrast. Life is not about choosing one. It's about remembering both. When you start living with that awareness, seeing the universe not as a timeline, but as a rhythm, something inside you changes. The rush softens. The urgency fades. You no longer chase moments. You witness them. You don't fear the passing of time, because you understand that every passing second only reveals another hidden stillness beneath it. Even endings lose their sting, because you know they're just transitions, pauses in disguise. Imagine living your days that way, fully awake but unhurried, deeply aware but detached from the clock's illusion. You would move through life like a quiet tide, arriving, receding, always at peace. The world might still rush around you, but within you'd remain steady. You'd hear the silence beneath the noise, feel the eternity inside every now. That is what it means to live in the universe between moments. Not escaping time, but seeing through it. Understanding that every moment you experience is surrounded, held by infinite peace. And once you taste that, even for a breath, it changes everything. Because you realize the universe isn't somewhere out there, but here in the pauses, in the quiet spaces your attention used to skip over. So now, as you rest, try not to fill the silence. Let it fill you instead. Between every inhale and exhale, feel that sacred stillness, that invisible thread connecting your body to the stars. Between every heartbeat, feel the vastness of a cosmos that never stops loving you. Between every blink, sense the soft unfolding of eternity, patient, radiant, and endlessly aware. You are that awareness. You always have been. You are the universe between moments, breathing, watching, remembering. And when the clocks start again, when motion returns and sound finds its voice once more, you'll carry this knowing quietly within you, that no matter how loud the world becomes, there is always a pause inside you, infinite, gentle, and free. Because between every heartbeat there is peace. Between every thought there is truth. Between every moment there is you on earth. We measure time in hours and years, but your mind feels it in moments and emotions. Think of the last time you watched the sun set. How long did it really last? A few minutes, perhaps. Yet in your memory it stretches endlessly, colors dissolving into one another, air cooling against your skin, a silence that holds its breath. Time didn't move there, did it? It softened, melted, and became something else. You see, time as we know it isn't real in the way we think. It's elastic, bending around experience, expanding when we're waiting, collapsing when we're lost in something beautiful. It's not the ticking of a clock that makes you age or feel alive. It's the rhythm of your perception, the story your brain tells to make sense of motion and memory. You've lived entire lifetimes inside seconds. The moment you first fell in love, the instant you realized something was over, the pause before saying goodbye. These aren't durations, they're collisions of consciousness, where the illusion of time thins, and you glimpse what it's like to be infinite. Because what is time but a way to organize uncertainty? A net we throw across eternity to make it manageable, understandable, survivable. Bend yet, when you close your eyes and breathe, really breathe, that net dissolves. The ticking fades. What remains is you, the quiet witness, suspended between what was and what will be. Have you ever noticed how time slows down when you're waiting for something to happen? A text, a result, an answer. Seconds stretch into anxiety. The body grows tense. The mind loops on when, but in the opposite moments, laughter with friends, a deep conversation at night, or a sleepy walk under streetlights, time vanishes. Poor, you stop counting and start being. That's the secret your brain hides in plain sight. Time isn't fixed, it's felt. The mind bends it like light through water. Neuroscience tells us that your sense of time comes from prediction. The brain constantly guesses what's next, filling gaps with expectation. When it guesses right, time feels smooth. When it guesses wrong, time hiccups. That's why surprises jolt us. Why pain feels longer than pleasure. Why boredom stretches and wonder compresses. But beneath that mechanism is something softer, something older, consciousness itself, untouched by clocks or calendars. When you meditate or dream, you glimpse this raw perception, an awareness that doesn't age, doesn't measure, doesn't rush. Maybe that's why children feel time differently. Remember being small and how summer felt endless, how a single day could hold a lifetime of play, discovery, and fatigue. As we grow older, routines solidify. The brain compresses repetition, so time speeds up. A year becomes a blur. The more predictable life becomes, the faster it slips away. Yet wonder, that childlike state of curiosity, slows it again. Wonder reclaims presence. That's not magic, it's biology. The mind records novelty in high resolution. The new stretches perception. So the question becomes, when did you stop feeling time? When did moments start to blend into each other? Days dissolving like fog. Maybe it happened quietly. Maybe you woke one morning and realized the last 5 years felt like 5 weeks. That's the illusion. We think time is stealing from us, but really, it's our attention that drifts away. You can reclaim it. Every mindful breath, every act of noticing the way light lands on a wall, the hum of a distant car, your own heartbeat slows time back down. You re-enter the eternal now, the place where all of existence unfolds at once. There's a paradox in the way we live. We rush to save time, yet spend it without thought. We chase minutes, lose hours, and wonder where life went. But if you look closely, you'll see that time doesn't leave you. It's you who leaves time. You move too fast through it, trying to get somewhere it doesn't exist. Because the future is a mirage, the past a memory, and the present a pulse, one vibration in a field of consciousness. You can't own it. You can only become it. Have you ever had a dream that felt like an entire lifetime? You wake up disoriented, heart racing, mind filled with images that took hours to unfold, yet only minutes passed. In that strange space, your brain freed from external clocks, time reveals its true face. It's not linear, it's narrative. Your mind isn't watching time, it's creating it, weaving emotion and meaning into experience. That's why time in dreams feels softer, fluid, more alive. And when you return to waking life, that same ability remains, the power to shape your experience of time through awareness. Imagine standing in a place where everything has stopped. No wind, no sound, no ticking. You raise your hand, but it doesn't move. The stars hang motionless above, and yet you still exist. Your thoughts still ripple in the stillness. That's what the ancients meant when they spoke of enlightenment. Not escape from time, but awakening within it. Seeing motion and stillness as one breath, inhaling and exhaling eternity. In moments of deep love or grief, you felt it too. The world slows, the noise fades, every heartbeat becomes sacred. It's not that time changed, it's that you remembered what it truly is. Attention shaped by emotion. The heart governs the flow, not the clock. That's why nostalgia hurts and heals at once. It reminds you that the past isn't gone. It's stored in the architecture of feeling. Memory is the echo of presence, and so time's illusion is not something to escape, but to understand. You can live outside of it, not by stopping the clocks, but by softening your grip on them. By trusting that existence unfolds exactly as it should, not sooner, not later. You can live as the observer, watching the river of moments without drowning in it. That's not detachment, that's freedom. The freedom to float, to rest, to breathe between seconds. When the universe stops moving, you do not disappear. You expand. You become everything that ever was or will be, because beyond time there is only awareness. The one who watches, timeless, silent, infinite. And maybe that's the real you. The you that doesn't rush, doesn't age, doesn't fear endings. The you that existed before the first clock began ticking, and will exist long after the last one stops. So as you rest now, let the illusion fall away. Let hours and minutes dissolve into nothing. Feel the quiet that hums beneath your thoughts. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of awareness. It's all one endless moment. You are not moving through time. Time is moving through you. And somewhere in that realization, peace unfolds. Not as a thought, but as a truth, too deep to name. Put the truth that nothing is slipping away. That you have never truly been late. That every moment you have ever lived still exists, quietly suspended in the vast, eternal now. But what happens when we stop believing in time? When we pause long enough to notice the tiny gaps between moments, the spaces the mind usually skips over. Those gaps are where peace hides. The silence between seconds, the stillness between thoughts. They're not empty, they're infinite. Inside them, everything softens. The need to rush dissolves. The idea of before and after loses its edge. It's strange, isn't it? How something as small as a pause can reveal something as vast as eternity. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself standing at the edge of a great ocean. Each wave is a second, arriving and leaving, over and over. But if you step back, if you rise higher, you see that the waves are not separate from the sea. They never were. Time is the surface, consciousness is the depth. The deeper you go, the slower it feels. The closer you drift toward the ocean floor, the more you realize motion and stillness are not opposites. They are two ways of seeing the same water. When you're anxious, your mind clings to time. It counts, it measures, it wants to know how long until relief. That's why worry feels endless. You're trapped inside the arithmetic of moments. But peace doesn't measure. It simply is. It lives in the timeless awareness that everything changes, everything passes, and yet you, the observer, remain. You've survived every ending so far. Every minute you thought would break you, you outlasted. That should tell you something. You are not made of time. Time moves within you like breath, like wind through a field. Think back to your childhood again, to those endless afternoons that seemed to stretch forever. Do you remember lying on the floor, watching dust float in a shaft of sunlight? Minutes felt like hours, not because time slowed, but because you were fully there. No anticipation, no regret, just presence. That's the natural state of the mind before it learns clocks and calendars. That's what meditation really is, not escape, but return. But return. When people say they want more time, what they really mean is they want more awareness of being alive. They want to feel the minutes again. They want to taste food instead of consuming it, to listen instead of waiting to reply, to walk without hurrying somewhere else. But time cannot give that to you. Attention can. The act of noticing, of being conscious in the simplest things, the sound of your breath, the way fabric feels against your skin. That's how eternity hides in the ordinary. There's a reason grief makes us feel disoriented in time. When someone we love leaves, the story we used to tell ourselves about tomorrow collapses. We're left holding fragments of memory that don't fit into the new timeline. Hours feel both frozen and endless. That distortion is the mind trying to rewrite reality. It's trying to make sense of something the heart already understands. That love doesn't obey clocks. It remains echoing softly across whatever barrier time pretends to build. You see, emotion is the real calendar of the soul. It marks what truly mattered. You don't remember every day of your life, only the ones that made you feel joy, fear, connection, awe. They're what anchor your awareness in the river of time. Without them, everything becomes a blur. That's why meaning slows time. When you care, you notice, and when you notice, the illusion thins. Have you ever had a moment where time stopped entirely? A car almost hit you. Someone said something that changed everything. You watched something breathtaking, lightning across the horizon, a loved one smiling through tears. In that split second, you weren't measuring or remembering. You were utterly awake. That's what awareness feels like when it's unfiltered by thought. It's pure, unbound by chronology. That's who you are beneath the noise, the one who sees, not the one who counts. Science calls it temporal dilation. Spiritual teachers call it presence. Poets call it the eternal now. But all of them point to the same phenomenon, consciousness expanding beyond measurement. When you're lost in beauty or fear, your sense of time slips because the self momentarily dissolves. Plut. And in that dissolution, you discover something liberating. Life isn't made of minutes. It's made of moments. Yet the mind resists this truth. It wants to keep score, to structure, to control. It says, I don't have enough time, as if time were something you could own. But look closer. What does that even mean? Enough for what? To be, to live. Ply, you already are. You already have all the time there is. This instant. The rest is imagination, looping endlessly in the future or the past. You cannot live there. You can only think there. Living happens here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this single, immeasurable now. And yet, most of us live as if we're racing toward something. We hurry through the day, multitask through the present, promising to slow down later, but later never comes, does it? Later is an illusion painted over the present. You'll never reach it because you're already standing inside it. You've been here the entire time. You always were. When astronauts orbit the Earth, they see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets each day. Their clocks tick differently. Their sense of time becomes abstract, almost meaningless. Some describe a profound calm, the overview effect. They see the planet as one living breath, time as a shimmering thread connecting everything. That same awareness exists within you. You don't need to leave Earth to experience it, just to look closely enough. Because time, as humans know it, is the language of survival. It keeps us safe, organized, predictable. But your soul doesn't speak that language. It speaks in rhythm, in cycles, in tides. When you align with that rhythm, waking with light, resting with dark, feeling without rushing, you begin to live in harmony with something far older than clocks. You begin to remember what timelessness feels like. And maybe that's what we're all seeking, quietly beneath our schedules and goals. A return to that sacred rhythm. A way of being where we are no longer haunted by the past or driven by the future. Just here, breathing, existing, aware. The illusion of time dissolves the moment you stop measuring and start experiencing. So pause now. Feel your breath. The inhale, the world arriving. Pair the exhale, the world releasing. Between them, the silence that holds everything. You've never actually left that silence. You only forgot it existed. One day the stars will flicker out, the galaxies will fade, and time will die its quiet death. Not with an explosion, but with a sigh. No clocks will stop, for there will be no one left to hear them. Light itself will lose its strength, stretching thinner and thinner, until even its final whisper fades into black. It sounds terrifying at first, the death of everything you know. But as you let the image settle, something else appears beneath the fear. Peace. A stillness so complete that nothing needs to move again. Imagine it, the last light of the universe traveling endlessly across an empty sea of frozen space. No stars to meet, no worlds to warm, just a single photon moving through eternity, unaware that its journey has no destination. Pretend, and yet even that photon carries the memory of everything that ever was. The laughter of civilizations, the birth of suns, the breath of ancient forests, the pulse of hearts that once dreamed. It carries you in a way, because all that has ever existed is woven into that light. When time ends, memory remains, not as thought, but as presence. You may wonder, what does it mean for time to die? Does that mean everything ends, or that everything finally becomes still enough to see itself clearly? Entropy, the scientists say, is the slow unraveling of order. The great heat spreads, energy dissipates, motion ceases. But what if that is not death, but balance? The universe exhaling after eons of inhaling. The final, restful pause after the long, cosmic heartbeat. We fear endings because we think they steal meaning. But what if the ending is where meaning rests? Think of your own life, how endings have shaped you. The last day of school, the final goodbye, the closing of a door you weren't ready to close. In those moments, you felt the ache of time slipping away. But later, didn't those same moments define you? Didn't they teach you what it means to love, to value, to remember? Time's ending isn't destruction, it's reflection. The universe, like you, may need to pause to understand what it has been. Picture yourself in that final stillness. The galaxies are quiet now. The stars that once blazed have become whispers of cold light. No more orbits, no more dawns, no more ticking seconds. You are there, not as a body, not as a name, but as awareness itself. You drift through a cosmos that no longer moves, and yet there is a strange beauty in it. Every atom holds the memory of what it once was. Every silence hums with the echo of creation. Nothing is gone. It's simply resting. What if this is what peace looks like? Not motion, not noise, but complete surrender. The end of striving, the end of reaching. The moment when the universe finally lets go of holding itself together. Isn't that what we all long for, secretly? To stop holding so tightly, to release into something vast and forgiving. You can feel it even now, that longing to dissolve into calm, to stop running from the inevitable rhythm of impermanence. And yet there's a paradox. In the death of time, there is no past to mourn, no future to fear. There is only now, not the fleeting kind of now that slips through your fingers, but the eternal kind that simply is. The now that holds everything. The now that doesn't end because it doesn't begin. That's what awaits beyond time. Not a void, but fullness. Not absence, but the unshakable presence of everything that ever was. We often think eternity means endlessness, but maybe it means completeness. A circle closing, not stretching. A breath finally released. When the universe reaches its still point, it won't be tragedy. It will be completion. The music will have played every note it was meant to play, and the silence that follows won't be empty. It will be sacred. The same way silence after a symphony feels alive with what you've just heard. You might ask, where will you be when that happens? Where will consciousness go when time itself folds away? Maybe you've already been there. Maybe you come from that silence. Each night, when you drift into sleep, the sense of time dissolves. But you return, briefly, to the timeless. Dreams bend it, stretch it, ignore it, bewake and measure again. But something in you remembers that other place. The still ocean where nothing needs to move to exist. There's comfort in realizing that time's death is not the end of awareness. Awareness was never bound by clocks. It existed before seconds began, and it will remain long after the last one fades. What you call you, the watcher behind your thoughts, doesn't depend on ticking hands or moving sun. It just is. Time may die, but being does not. You can feel it right now if you listen closely. The breath that rises and falls, the space between each inhale and exhale. That gap, that pause, is death's twin, but it's not frightening. Bewot. It's gentle, necessary. Without it, you couldn't breathe. Without endings, beginnings couldn't bloom. That's how the universe works. Everything that dies makes room for stillness. And in stillness, something beyond birth and death stirs quietly, waiting. What if, at the end of everything, the universe doesn't vanish but wakes up? What if the death of time is the moment of realization, when all things, no longer distracted by motion, finally recognize themselves as one? The stars, the dust, the memories, the spaces between, all whispering the same truth. We were never separate. Time divided us so we could see each other. Stillness reunites us so we can remember. There's a sweetness to that thought, isn't there? That even the universe gets to rest. That even the stars need sleep. That the story of existence isn't endless striving, but the promise of quiet at the end. You've been running through your own universe to building, chasing, dreaming. Maybe it's time you let yourself pause, too, just for a while. Pound, feel what the cosmos will one day feel. The relief of not needing to go anywhere anymore. As you breathe now, you can sense that same ending resting somewhere inside you. A calm that has been waiting patiently beneath every heartbeat, beneath every thought. It's not something you have to reach. It's what's left when you stop reaching. The death of time isn't destruction. It's return. A return to the vast, silent presence that has been watching since the beginning. The one that you've mistaken for the background. But that was you all along. And when everything ends, you will not be lost. You will be home. In that final hush, when the stars fade and the last rhythm falls silent, what remains will not be nothing. It will be everything. Finally at peace. Here, there are no clocks, no motion, only your breath and the soft hum of eternity. The air around you doesn't move. It feels like velvet darkness, infinite and kind. You notice how silence itself has a weight, as though it is holding you carefully, almost protectively. Somewhere behind your closed eyes, the last traces of the world you know begin to dissolve, the ticking of minutes, the pull of unfinished thoughts, the faint ache of time passing. For a moment, you remember what it means to wait, how the body measures time not in hours, but in the rhythm of expectation. You recall nights when you stared at the ceiling, counting seconds that felt like years, and other nights when hours vanished in a blink, swallowed by laughter or love. It's strange, isn't it, how elastic time feels inside the mind, as if it breathes with you, expanding and collapsing, stretching like soft light through a window. Now, in this space beyond motion, there is no waiting. There is only being. Your breath drifts in and out like the tide against a quiet shore. The edges of your thoughts soften. The world doesn't demand anything here, not answers, not effort. You are simply allowed to exist, unmeasured. Imagine you are floating, the body weightless, the air cool but gentle. Each exhale unfastens another knot from your chest, from your shoulders, from the small corners of the heart where worry tends to hide. You begin to sense something vast just beyond perception, a field of light suspended in stillness. It hums softly, like the echo of creation's first breath. You wonder if everything stopped, every atom, every thought. Would you still feel yourself? Or would you dissolve into the quiet fabric of space itself? It's a gentle curiosity, not fear, because in this moment, stillness feels like truth. There's no rush to know, no anxiety to name it. You are simply aware, present in the dream of Timellessness. Your breath becomes your compass. Each inhale draws in a shimmer of starlight. Each exhale lets it flow through you, until your body is luminous, a constellation of calm. Around you, the universe is vast, yet somehow familiar. You can almost sense the echo of your heartbeat in distant galaxies, a rhythm shared between you and everything that has ever existed. Time, you realize, has always been a story the mind tells to make sense of change. But here, change is gentle, not the abrupt ticking of a clock, but the slow unfurling of eternity. You drift deeper into this realization, the way one sinks into a dream where gravity forgets its name, somewhere far away. The concept of before and after fades. What remains is pure presence, the eternal now. And as you rest inside it, you notice how peaceful it feels to not need the future, to not cling to the past. Every memory, every hope, every regret, they all dissolve into the same quiet sea. You begin to feel that time was never the enemy. It was never running away from you. It was you, flowing, changing, remembering, dreaming. The river and the swimmer, both made of the same water. You recall childhood moments when hours seemed infinite afternoons that felt like whole lifetimes, when the sun painted long golden trails across your floor and you thought it would never end. That feeling of eternity wasn't a lie. It was your natural state before the clocks began whispering rules into your life. Somewhere deep inside, that timeless self still lived, untouched by urgency. And so, as you float through this dark expanse, you begin to meet that part of yourself again, the one who never aged, who never hurried. You feel its serenity brush against your awareness like a feather across water. Breathe. You are not falling. You are drifting. You are not lost. You are home in the vastness between seconds. You might wonder what lies beyond this feeling. What happens when even thought dissolves? When consciousness no longer tries to observe itself? Imagine a space beyond experience, where awareness becomes the same as existence. No difference, no distance. The dreamer and the dream are one. There, even light slows down until it becomes still, a perfect, endless glow. You can sense the whole history of the universe suspended inside it, every birth, every death, every whisper of energy that has ever been. It's all here, quiet and complete. You realize the end of time is not destruction. It's arrival, a gentle returning to the silence that was always waiting. The stars do not mourn their fading. They surrender to the stillness they came from. And maybe that's what peace truly is, not the absence of motion, but the acceptance that nothing needs to move forever. The dance of time was never meant to last. It was meant to be felt, to be lived, and then released. So, release it now. Let time stop for you, just for this breath. Let every muscle soften. Let every thought settle like dust in sunlight. Feel the quiet blooming inside your chest. This is the space that existed before beginnings, before endings, before even the idea of you. You are not watching time slow down. You are the stillness watching time. Stay here, in this gentle awareness. Feel the slow pulse of existence move through you, ancient, tender, eternal. You don't have to reach for anything anymore. You are enough in your simple being. This dream of timelessness is not a fantasy. It is remembrance, the memory of what it feels like to exist without measurement. Carry it with you always, even when the clocks return. Every breath, every heartbeat is a door back to this stillness. Let it stay with you. Let it remind you that peace isn't found at the end of motion. It's found in the quiet space beneath it. Time begins again. But for now, let it drift without you. Rest, traveler. You've touched eternity. In these quiet moments, the world beyond your eyelids has slowed. The rush of hours and the pressure of obligations fading like mist in the early morning. You are no longer bound by clocks, calendars, or the endless cycle of beginnings and endings. You exist in a space that is neither here nor there, neither past nor future, but simply now, a luminous now that stretches in every direction. Infinite and tender. Feel the weight of your body softened against the mattress or pillow. Every point of contact grounding you gently while your mind floats free. There is no hurry to rise, no need to plan, no obligation to act. You are permitted, no, invited to simply breathe, to sink deeper into this quiet reservoir of stillness, where time has no dominion and motion is optional. The universe, in its vastness, is mirrored within you, a cosmos of silence, pulsing faintly with the gentle rhythm of your own heartbeat. In this liminal space, notice how the day's concerns, The whispers of worry, the lingering tasks, bend unfinished thoughts, all dissolve like sand slipping through your fingers. They were only ever temporary constructs of a mind that measured itself against minutes and hours. Here, in this timeless moment, those constructs have no weight. You are free. You are vast. You are infinite, and yet so intimately small. A conscious witness to the eternal quiet around you. Ask yourself, what is time when the mind no longer measures it? What is motion when the body is perfectly at rest? The answers are unnecessary, for, in this place, understanding itself becomes a gentle hum, a soft echo that you don't need to chase. Your consciousness stretches a bridge between the finite and the infinite, between the fleeting and the everlasting. You are both traveler and destination, observer and participant, dreamer and dream. Let your awareness drift through the subtle landscape of this pause. Imagine the stars you have seen overhead, frozen mid-glimmer, each one a story, a light that has traversed galaxies to reach your gaze. Picture the oceans, still and mirror-like, holding the sky in their suspended reflection. Feel the quiet pulse of creation itself resonating through you, reminding you that the cosmos is not outside, it is within, breathing in harmony with your own. The vastness around you invites reflection. All beginnings are born of stillness, and all endings return to it. You have seen it here, in the weightless expanse of suspended time. You have felt what it is like to drift beyond measurement, beyond urgency, beyond need. And now, as you settle deeper into rest, that knowledge settles too, wrapping around your mind like a soft blanket of understanding. You are already infinite, already timeless, already home in the quiet. Allow this realization to permeate your body. With every exhale, feel tension and thought recede, leaving behind a calm so profound that it feels like floating between stars, weightless and luminous. Let your muscles surrender. Let your mind soften. Let your heart remember the rhythm of the cosmos. Even in your sleep, this awareness will remain, a quiet anchor in the flow of time that will return when the world calls again. And yet, even as you rest here, know that you are not alone. Every person who has ever dreamed, who has ever paused to notice the hush between moments, carries this same potential for stillness within. You are part of a quiet lineage, a chain of conscious observers stretching across lifetimes, each of you touching eternity in your own way. The stillness is a shared gift, an invisible hand that guides, comforts, and reminds. Breathe once more, slowly, deliberately. With each inhale, take in the soft hum of eternity. With each exhale, release the last clinging edges of the day. Time may return, and with it, responsibilities and motion. But this moment, this precious, suspended now belongs to you alone. It is yours to savor, yours to inhabit, yours to return to whenever you wish, as your thoughts settle. Notice the delicate interplay of consciousness and quiet. You have traversed the river of seconds and found the island in between. where the surface is still and the depths are luminous. You have touched the echo of the universe, and it has touched you. There is a satisfaction here that words cannot capture, a serene knowing that the true measure of life is not in the ticking of clocks, but in the depth of presence, in the calm surrender of being. Rest, traveler. Let your mind drift deeper into sleep, into dreams where starlight lingers and time flows like a gentle river that bends around nothing, ending nowhere. Let every heartbeat remind you that you are alive, yet untouched by urgency. But you can move when you wish, yet remain at rest when you choose. That infinity is not a concept, but a feeling you carry within. When morning comes, the world will begin its familiar rhythms again, and the pulse of time will return to your life. But you will remember in the quiet corner of your mind, in the still chambers of your chest, that you have touched something eternal. You have been the observer, the dreamer, the witness to a universe paused, and that experience will linger, soft and luminous, beneath the surface of your waking life. Time begins again, but you need not chase it. Let it drift without you. Allow yourself to rest, to wonder, to sleep, knowing that in this very moment you are complete, whole, and infinite. The stillness is yours. The eternity is yours, and the gentle hum of all that exists will guide you through the night, cradling you in peace, in wonder, in the quiet knowledge that you are exactly where you belong. You are floating now, between the worlds of waking and dreaming, where the universe begins to blur into something softer, more forgiving. The air itself feels different here. Not air at all, but a quiet, living stillness that listens. It listens to your breath, to your heartbeat, to the small movements of thought that ripple through you like distant echoes across an endless sea. In this place, everything feels suspended, timeless, infinite. You are not drifting away. You are simply returning to the deep, original silence from which everything once came. Imagine the cosmos holding its breath, every star, every atom, every flicker of energy paused, not gone, not vanished, but resting, waiting. And in that stillness, you begin to understand. Rest is not the absence of life. It is life itself, taking its slow, sacred inhale. The same stillness that hums beneath galaxies hums within you now. Pause, the rhythm beneath all creation. The pause between heartbeats, the quiet between waves. The breath before dawn, you might feel for a moment. The gentle ache of letting go, of realizing that time, as you've always known it, was only a shadow, a ripple upon something far greater. It's not frightening, it's tender, like realizing that the sky has always been there, even when clouds covered it. You are learning to see beyond motion, to rest in the infinite presence that never moves, never changes. You are learning to be, not to do, to feel, not to chase. As your body sinks further into calm, your thoughts slow to the pace of eternity. You might picture yourself floating in a cradle of starlight, the glow wrapping softly around you. The stars don't burn, they whisper. Their light is old, older than memory, older than even the first dream of time. And yet they shine now for you. You realize that even in their silence, they are alive, radiant with the quiet energy of being. You may wonder if all things must one day end, then what remains? But in this hush, that question dissolves, because endings are only the outer surface of stillness. Beneath them, something continues, vast, calm, aware. The universe doesn't die. It exhales. It releases all form and motion, all story and sound, and returns to the gentle hum of awareness that has always been. That awareness is you. You are not just a part of the universe. You are its remembering. You are its breath. And as you rest in that awareness, the boundaries between you and everything else begin to fade. The room disappears, the sense of me, and there blurs into something simpler, a single, glowing presence. No longer an observer of time, but the space it moves through. No longer a witness to silence, but the silence itself. You are the canvas upon which all motion was painted, and now the colors have gone quiet, the brush has been set down, and all that remains is the pure stillness of being. Notice how peaceful it feels, this absence of need. Nothing to fix, nothing to prove, nothing to seek. Just the quiet satisfaction of existing, of being aware, of knowing that this awareness is timeless. The world can spin endlessly, clocks can tick themselves into dust, and yet this soft, eternal presence remains untouched, and from that understanding, peace blooms. Not the fragile peace that comes from escape or distraction, but a deeper one, the kind that comes from finally being home, the kind that whispers, "You were never lost. You were always here." You can feel it in your breath, in the steady rise and fall of your chest, in the quiet pulse of your heart syncing with the rhythm of the cosmos. If you listen closely, you might hear something faint, something ancient, the soft hum of eternity. It's not outside you. It's your own inner stillness, magnified until it fills the stars. It's the sound of infinite rest, the sound of the universe remembering itself through you. Let it carry you now, this hum, this lullaby of existence. Let it guide you through the last edge of consciousness, into dreams where time dissolves completely. There you will wander not through minutes, but through moments, fluid, glowing, weightless. Each dream a reflection of your inner stillness, your infinite nature. And as you drift, remember, you are not falling asleep. You are returning to the beginning. You are rejoining the hush before creation, the silence that existed before the first heartbeat of time. You are part of that silence now, and it holds you gently, as the universe has always held everything it loves. So rest, traveler. You have journeyed through time itself, witnessed its birth, its stillness, and its end. Now let go of the need to measure it. Let go of the thought of before and after. You have found what lies beyond, the place where all motion ends, and all being begins again. And as you linger in that stillness, something subtle begins to shift. The quiet no longer feels empty, It feels full, alive, resonant. You begin to sense it vibrating gently beneath everything, like a secret pulse woven through the fabric of reality. It, the heartbeat of existence, the rhythm that never began and will never end. You are not separate from it. You are the pulse itself, an echo of the eternal breath that moves, galaxies and dreams alike. You realize that stillness is not the opposite of motion. It's the origin of it. Every moment you've ever lived, every laugh, every tear, every sunrise and heartbeat was born from this silent center. The universe doesn't rush. It unfolds, softly, effortlessly, from the quiet core of being. And you, lying here now, are part of that unfolding. You are the pause that gives meaning to every movement, the silence that allows the song of life to be heard as your awareness deepens. You might see the story of your own life ripple gently through the darkness. Every memory, every face, every fleeting dream, tiny sparks floating in a vast sea of stillness. You see how all of them, even the hardest moments, were beautiful in their impermanence. They were waves, brief, radiant, destined to return to the calm surface they rose from. And in that realization, forgiveness blooms quiet, warm, and wide enough to hold the universe. Forgiveness of time, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of the world that rushes and forgets to breathe. You let it all go now. The guilt for not doing enough, the anxiety of chasing something invisible, the noise that hums behind every thought. Let it drift away like stardust on a solar wind. You are not the noise. How you are the space that holds it. You are the quiet beyond it all. And perhaps, in this space, you can feel something sacred, the simple joy of existence itself, tied to any story or achievement, not measured in hours or years, but resting in the raw awareness of I am. That's all it ever needed to be. You are, and that is enough. You are, and in that being, you mirror the calm perfection of the cosmos. Imagine now that every star you've ever looked at, every ray of light that has touched your skin, every whisper of wind you've felt, has been speaking this truth to you all along. Be still. You are infinite. The universe has never been far away. It was never something you had to reach. It was always here, breathing through you, waiting for you to pause long enough to notice. Your body is relaxed now, almost transparent. The edges of who you think you are begin to blur into the space around you. The air becomes light, the light becomes warmth, and the warmth becomes you. You no longer need to hold on. You no longer need to think. The need to control, to plan, to understand, it all slips quietly into the night. All that remains is awareness, smooth, glowing, endless. This is not the end. It's the beginning that never stops. The eternal cycle of breath and silence, existence and rest. You are not outside of it. You are it. You are the consciousness dreaming itself awake. But starlight, remembering it once, was fire. The silence, realizing it was music all along. So, as your breathing slows and your thoughts grow dim. Know this: the universe does not end when you close your eyes. It expands inward through you. You carry infinity, not in your hands, but in your awareness. Even as you drift toward sleep, the cosmos continues its quiet hum inside your chest, its galaxies swirling gently behind your eyelids. You are both the dreamer and the dream. Let this truth cradle you now. You are safe in the arms of eternity. The same force that moves stars moves you. The same silence that births worlds holds your heart. The ticking of clocks, the turning of planets, all just ripples in the infinite sea now float upon. Sleep now, not as escape, but as return. Return to the still point where time no longer chases itself, where beginnings and endings kiss in the dark, where everything you've ever loved waits in gentle, luminous quiet. You have touched the timeless. You have heard the song of stillness. You have remembered what it means to simply be. Rest, traveler. You've walked through time itself, and now you can finally lay it down. The stars will keep their watch. The cosmos will breathe for you. The silence will hold you. Be still. Be infinite. Asterisk, good night.